For those that are not familiar with ice wine and how it is harvested when it is freezing cold, I call it the Navy SEAL of harvesting. Is the ice wine process for cider done the same way, or is it done a little different?
So it can be done the same way. It generally is not. Most of the ice cider made in the world is made up in Canada. It's definitely in Quebec. So where they can leave apples on the tree and they freeze the same way that grapes do. Actually doesn't get that cold down here.
Right.
So we do it a little bit different. We press the juice instead of leaving it on the tree, and then we freeze the bulk juice. So it's a bit of a different process, and you do get a bit of a different character. If you have the stuff that's left on the tree to freeze, it's a little bit more nutty and sort of sherry-like is the best way I can describe it. It's sort of like micro-oxidation. It's really, really cool and special and unique, and when you taste it, you can say, okay, this is of that terroir.
So as somebody who is pretty well versed in cider, what would you suggest they go for if they're looking for something a little more advanced, a little more funky, a little more cool, maybe something less known? Yeah,
so I think the pinnacle of nerdiness is probably in Spain. So the cider of coastal Spain, so Asturias, people are more familiar with San Sebastian and that area, the Basque region, but really Asturias on the other side of the country, along the Bay of Biscay, is where the cider is. And because all the cider is naturally fermented, it can be like quote unquote funky. If you went there, they wouldn't say that, but as an American, you might go there and say that. So I think there's like a step up in the challenge of drinking it, but once you get it inside you, everything changes. And especially once you have it with food, it's just it's another world.
So sparkling cider, can you talk a little bit about this process and walk me through it?
That is our Newtown Pippin, so 100% that apple. That's a variety that was founded in Queens, New York, way back when, and at one time was the most prolific apple in the States.
Wow.
It's sort of fallen to the wayside, but cider makers have picked it up, and its popularity is coming back. So all the apples from New York State, these particular Newtown Pippin apples come from the Finger Lakes. We press it, we ferment it naturally, we don't add any yeast, and before the fermentation is complete, we'll finish it in the bottle. So you retain a little bit of sugar so the yeast can keep working, and they will, the carbon dioxide is trapped within the bottle. And so we just leave it there.
What's your take on a cider cocktail with a sparkling cider?
I would probably just put like a little bit of bitters, maybe a sugar cube, soak the sugar cube in bitters and pour the cider on top of it. Maybe over ice, maybe not. Just keep it super, super simple that way. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite cider for cocktails?
I think it's cool to bring in like something bigger and funkier. I like maybe like 2 ounces rum, a really heavy, bittersweet, kind of funky cider. Maybe our unfiltered is a good example for that. It has a lot of body, it stands up to other flavors. So I never want to have a cider cocktail that drowns out the cider, because then it's just a filler, right? I want to experience the cider in some way.